North Carolina putting it in play and already with a very long kick. Sis Kaskinen after it, but it's cleared away by the sweeper, Betsy Drambour, who played so well in yesterday's win over UMass. Ball kicked all the way back deep. The chase is on in the George Mason zone, and we've got a whistle, and a pushing foul is going to be called on North Carolina. So George Mason will be putting the ball back into play. We're just in the opening seconds, just a half a minute gone by. They will play two 45-minute halves. If it is tied at the end of regulation, they would play two 15-minute overtimes, not sudden death, but two separate 15-minute overtimes, and then go to penalty kicks if need be to decide it, as Kim Maslin sends the boot upfield. She was looking deep for Pam Baughman. Now it is Tomek sending it the other way, but North Carolina should have no trouble with this one. It is sent all the way over to the far side, where it is taken by Senga Allen. Looking upfield, she's broken up by Gmitter. And now North Carolina playing back with it. Anson Doran said before the game, Seamus, he was a little concerned about his defense. He said they'd have to play tighter in the back in order to win.
Yes, I think there was some element of suspicion about the back four a little bit for North Carolina yesterday. They looked a little bit casual to me. They weren't really attacking their opponents the way I know they can. And I think they really gave away a couple of goals that they clearly were unhappy about. But they will not be able to give up those kinds of chances against a hungry George Mason team today.
Kim Maslin with a long punt for Lisa Gmitter. There's a collision there. Lisa's led this team in scoring the last 3 years. Taken back the other way by Senga Allen for North Carolina. Ball played up. April Heinrichs looked like a good ball at first, but then it had a little bit too much spin on it and went right to Kim Maslin. April Heinrichs, though, was the player of the year last year in the NCAA. In the corner, it is sent all the way out, but Kim Maslin will have no trouble off of the Nancy Slocum shot.
Nancy Slocum with a good low cross to the near post there. Sometimes a testing cross for a goalkeeper. Kim Maslin, though, equal to the task. Slocum is a senior and does start, although she usually just plays the first 10 minutes before the coach brings in Tracy Bates, who will make an immediate impression on our viewers, I'm sure, when she comes on, but we'll wait for that point.
There's a collision, and it is a foul on North Carolina. Foul on Carrie Serwetnik, who was a little bit too aggressive in going up for that ball. And there'll be a free kick coming up for Betsy Drambour.
Well, you see the two Carolina players coming in here. I think also Nelson was in there, and also number 21, Marcia McDermott, who is a strong player, drawing the foul.
Kim Maslin has had more of the ball than anybody so far this afternoon. 42 minutes and 14 seconds left in a scoreless opening half from George Mason. Betsy Drambour in a collision, bounces free and comes away with the ball. Up the near wing side to Kathy Conroy. Kathy sending one towards the middle. Trying to dummy the ball that time was 16 Meg Romaine, but North Carolina comes back with it. And here they come on the attack. Straight up the field, Heinrichs not getting off a good pass, and it is picked off by Sis Kaskinen. Headed back the other way by Kathy Conroy up the field. The Lady Patriots looking for a break, but they don't get one. The ball is cleared out of bounds. Last touch by North Carolina Tar Heels, and it will be a throw-in for the Lady Patriots, and taking it is Kathy Conroy. Playing it to Pam Baughman. Looking upfield for a break. Chris Tomek. Cutting to the outside. Pushed. But still maintains possession. Tries the cross, but Odell is there. And a bit of a late attempt. I thought they might have called a dangerous play on that, Seamus, in the end.
Well, it looked like she lost control of it just for a split second, and that's what the George Mason forward saw as their opportunity. In particular, number 16, Meg Romaine, in there trying to take advantage. But again, Odell quickly snapped it up and tucked it away. Carrie
Serwetnik tries the long pass. There's Betsy Drambour again. We're going to be using her name an awful lot this afternoon. Good lead ball. Tomek, Chris Tomek, a junior from Wheaton, Illinois. Getting it on the near sideline. Trying to cut inside. I could see what she wanted to do. If she got away with it, would have been a nice move. Well, good play by Dory Kovanen coming over there from the center of the defense to help out. This one will be harmless, and Kathleen Odell will be putting it back in play once more. There's no score, 40 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the opening half. The NCAA Women's Championships. Ball is cleared out of play. And that's not what North Carolina wanted to do. Conroy on the toss-in. Taken back the other way. North Carolina trying to move it up the near sideline. And again, it goes out of play. Throw in again. Kathy Conroy putting it in play. Knocked away by North Carolina. same deal.
Yeah, Sherry Nelson, though, closing down her player Stacey Nelson, excuse me, closing down her player very quickly, showing a little bit more urgency now in the back four of UNC.
Sis Koskinen going after the ball, goes out of play. Ball is thrown in by Cheryl Walters.
As I mentioned, Tracy Bates is now waiting at the substitutes bench to come in at the halfway mark as we watch Kim Maslin clear outfield. I'm sure that she will be going in for Slocum, Nancy Slocum. If that certainly has been the pattern in the past, we'll see if Anson Dorrance continues it.
Kathy Conroy trying to move it up the field, broken up. Lisa Gmitter battling with Johnson for it. Ball goes down the left wing side. Sent into the box, but Odell is right there. She had to anticipate that one because coming in was Meg Romaine, and if that ball had squirted loose, George Mason would have probably gotten on the board.
Yeah, Odell very steady, has had some testing situations already. Once again, the back four, though, not quite as comfortable as they perhaps ought to be, and exposed on that far side that time by a good overlapping run. Some good speed in George Mason.
Throw in coming up for North Carolina. Tossed in along the near wing sideline. Chris Tomek able to break it up for the moment, but North Carolina will get it back in the midfield area, right over that midfield line. Betsy Johnson. She is the team captain, playing it over the far wing side. Betsy Drambour sweeps it out of play, and will be a throw-in coming up for North Carolina.
Betsy holding her pass there a little bit too long. It became an obvious pass, a telegraph pass, so the defense was able to get over, the sweeper was able to get over and do the job, and she is a very good sweeper indeed.
Betsy Johnson will throw it in, long toss into the box area, headed in front, cleared but not out. It comes right back. Far wing side, Johnson with a shot, but it's too high. It goes out of play. There's no score between North Carolina and George Mason. And there'll be a couple of new players in the lineup for North Carolina. They will be number 17, Tracy Bates, and number 5, Tony Catchings, replacing Nancy Slocum.
And Stacey Nelson, I keep calling her Cheryl. I'm sorry, there's Stacey and your parents, but Stacey has got one leg pretty heavily wrapped up there, and I don't know if that's bothering her, but she has obviously come out quite early in this match.
Conroy trying the pass, but it's broken up. All the way over to the far wing sideline it goes. The Lady Patriots, Pam Baughman, broken up. Cleared out the other way by Senga Allen. Up over the midfield line. North Carolina almost getting to it. Now they will. Down the left wing side they come. Carrying the ball, Joe Bubas. Nice cut back. Bubas will want to cross if she can. She does, but doesn't get it the way she wanted to. And it goes out of play. There will be a goal kick coming up. But Joe Bubas made a nice play. She was one of the top reserves on this team last year and had a tough job to replace All-American striker Joan Dunlap. But she did it, Seamus. She had 15 goals this year.
Well, on that particular play, she did very well early on, but then just ran out of technique when she needed it most. That is for the good cross. But nonetheless, some interesting talent on her part already for the defense of George Mason to have to worry about.
North Carolina on the throw-in, 35-52 to play. First half, there's no score. North Carolina, though, threatening here. Right outside the box. Now inside the box. And broken up was Carrie Serwetnik. She was heading for a golden opportunity. It's taken back the other way by Chris Tomek. Leaving it off. Betsy Drambour with the ball to the right side for Lisa Gmitter. Gmitter hustling after it. Will she get it in time? Nope. But it will be a corner kick because it was last touched by number 7, Senga Allen. So the Lady Patriots with a chance here for some offense. With 35-17 to go in the first half, it is still scoreless. Lisa Gmitter, 3 years the scoring leader on the Lady Patriots. 12 regular season goals this year. Sends it low. Sent high into the air by Kathy Conroy. Headed out of the box by North Carolina. Up the field, they turn it right around. On the fly the other way comes number 11, Betsy Johnson. Right side to Stacey Nelson. Stacey running in. Kim Crabbe defending her, and Kim does a nice job to take it away. North Carolina, though, will take it back. Far wing sideline, sent right into the box. Headed out by Sis Koskinen. Kim Crabbe after it. Left foots it ahead. Turns into a nice ball. Up the middle of the field come the Lady Patriots as Lisa Gmitter starts to run on the right side, but the pass from Meg Romaine doesn't get there.
Well, unfortunately, the forwards also collapsed into the middle there, making the defensive task for UNC that much easier. If the George Mason forward had spread a little bit wider, gone out a little bit further, they would have stretched that defense a bit more and created an even better chance than was handed to them.
North Carolina working with it on the left wing side, and the ball is tackled out of play. There'll be a corner kick coming up for North Carolina. Or throw it, I'm sorry. Still scoreless as the ball was tossed in, and now it's crunched back out. Throwing it in was Tracy Bates, who came on as a substitute.
And Tracy Bates is all of 4'11". That's why I mentioned she would be a standout in some way, but she's a very talented left-footed player.
Carrie Sewetnik sent it into the box. Betsy Drambour sends it out. But coming right back in is Nelson, but the shot is taken very easily by Maslin. Still scoreless, 33-25 remaining. Opening half of play, and Kim Maslin punts it near midfield. Broken up by Carrie Sewetnik and taken by Tony Catchings. On the right side, North Carolina sending it in as Betsy Johnson tried to feed it far wing. But it's taken back by the Lady Patriots of head coach Hank Lutt. Kim Crabbe on the left wing. Upfield. Lady Patriots on the march. Lisa Gmitter again running well off the ball, but can Toma get it to her? Right into the box. It's deflected. On the left wing side, Meg Romaine for Gmitter, but it's broken up by the North Carolina defense. Dory Covenant from Tacoma, Washington. May have not saved a goal, but she certainly saved a good scoring opportunity.
And a very good run by Dana Hedden, by the way. There you see the shot by Dana Hedden deflected out by in fact, by Meg Romaine, but initially that very fine run by Dana Hedden getting her start for this final match.
Long throw in from the far wing sideline. It was intended for Lisa Gmitter, but broken up, cleared out of play. That was Dana Hedden on the far side. You mentioned her in our pregame comments. She had such a fine game yesterday that she went from a reserve to a starter this afternoon. Throw in from Kim Crabbe on the far wing side. Lady Patriots controlling it. Conroy sends it toward the box. It is banged out by Dory Covenant, but we've got a whistle and a foul anyway. There's still no score. Ball played into the box, and Kim Maslin is there. If you're just joining us, there's no score between the Lady Patriots of George Mason and the North Carolina Tar Heels as Kim Maslin clears it up over the midfield line. Knocked down by number 21, Carrie Sewetnik, but taken back by the Lady Patriots. They look for Pam Baughman. Baughman hustling after it, but she won't get there in time. And it's knocked out of play by Dory Covenant, but that's going to give a throw-in to the Lady Patriots deep in North Carolina's territory. Kathy Conroy will put it in play. She's a junior from Beechwood, New Jersey. Trying to head it closer to the box is Meg Romaine. She'll get a second try, and now it's taken on a chest trap by Tomek, but blocked by North Carolina. Sis Koskinen trying to play it towards the penalty arc, but it's cleared out by the Tar Heels. And back they come on the right wing side is Betsy Johnson, their team captain. 4 goals this year during the regular season for Betsy. North Carolina has a very powerful trio of strikers up front, but they have not been able to do anything so far because of a Lady Patriot defense that has kept them pretty much out of the box. Betsy Drambour sweeping it to the left wing side, drawing some double coverage. The ball is still not out of play. Remember, the entire ball must go out of play. If it rolls on the line, it's still playable.
A very good run for there by Carrie Sewetnik. She is a very talented player. She's one of the 2 foreign players, by the way, in the Final Four. She's from Ontario. But great pace, easily getting by her defender.
In the box, Sis Koskinen heading it, but not out. Carrie Sewetnik wanting to turn and get the right foot on that ball, but she's broken up by Dana Hedden on the left wing. Dana now has some daylight up the left wing side. Hedden's passo is broken up with a bad tackle from behind, and that's going to be a foul on North Carolina. As we look at Dana Hedden from Colorado Springs, Colorado, 5 goals this season.
Well, Dana making some very good ground on the far side. Here you see her trying to pull away as Johnson comes in and gets her from behind. That's Betsy Johnson, the very good midfielder for North Carolina, but certainly Hedden very much in this game, as she did yesterday off the bench today, getting the starting nod and showing a lot of confidence in bringing that ball out herself instead of just making the easy first-time pass, which is what a lot of players will do in the situation of a very important game. But she's taking a leadership role on that far side.
Dana heading with a throw, and somebody's breaking free. Romaine, but the shot went over the crossbar and out of play. Good opportunity, though, for the Lady Patriots.
Very good opportunistic run, indeed, by Meg Romaine as she catches the UNC players ball watching. They're all looking at the ball, and somebody just slips in behind them unmarked. You see Meg Romaine there as there's a late reaction by Dory Kovanen, but nonetheless, the defense of UNC a little bit victimized there by ball watching as she made a fine run from the backside. That was Meg Romaine making a nice sort of blindside run.
There's Kathy Moon, who had a goal in the win over UMass. She had 4 goals during the regular season. She's just coming on as a substitute for the Lady Patriots. Both coaches going to their benches. And you can substitute as often as you like in this game. And a player who comes out can also come back in later on as Betsy Drambour. Sends it high to the right wing side. Too far out of play, despite Kathy Moon's efforts to get that ball. Throw in for North Carolina. And they bring it back up the left wing side. Serwetnik is broken up. Kim Crabbe all the way from the left side over to the right side to make the play. North Carolina fighting to get it back in midfield. Pam Baughman says no to that. And it's Chris Tomek, number 4, in the green of the Lady Patriots. Still scoreless between North Carolina and George Mason as Senga Allen tries to come back the other way. Now it's played to Marcia McDermott, who scored twice in the win over Colorado. Ball played long and too long. It was intended on the near side for Beata Hegstead, who has also come on as a substitute.
The player coming off for George Mason, by the way, was number 14, Kathy Conroy. She made way for Kathy Moon. And Kathy Moon, as you mentioned, getting that very important goal yesterday for George Mason.
Betsy Drambour clears again. At midfield, a foul. And it's going to be called on North Carolina's Stacey Enos. She was injured in yesterday's game against Colorado, hurt her ankle and had to be carried off. It's her left leg, actually, that's heavily taped. So we don't know how effective she'll be this afternoon, but you don't want to miss a championship game, so it would be pretty tough, Seamus, to keep her out of the lineup, I'm sure.
That's right. She is not about to miss. So here's a chance for George Mason. Oh, well played by Allen over there.
Dana Hedden looking for an opportunity. Pam Baughman now sends it in. We've got an offside, though, indicated against the Lady Patriots, indicated by the linesman on the far side of the field. So no scoring opportunity right there. There's still no score between George Mason and the University of North Carolina. There's Kathy Moon running out of the picture. And there'll be a goal kick coming up. They will let Marcia McDermott kick it out. And we've got a deflection. Goes out of play. Throw-in coming up. North Carolina with a toss. Kim Crabbe over there trying to get to it, but North Carolina has the numbers, and they come away with it. April Heinrichs is tripped by Kim Crabbe. An obvious foul. North Carolina on a direct kick. Left-footed by Bates, but right outside the box, it's going to be taken back by the Lady Patriots. Up the field they come. To the right side, it's Lisa Gmitter. Turning inside on Senga Allen. Long ball of beauty. Pam Baughman is onside, but the goalkeeper, Odell, came out and made a great play. Pam Baughman appealing that her hands came out of the box, and they're going to say yes, Seamus.
Yeah, they're going to give just a free kick. It's a handball outside the penalty area, but it looked like it was on the line to me and not all the way over. But what a good cross indeed. And we'll see if she does touch it outside the line. Well, it's very difficult to tell from that angle. But no question that Pam Baughman was in a great position to do some damage after that superb long cross. So a set piece here for George Mason, the first serious set piece situation of the match.
And we'll see what trickery they come up with. Pam Baughman, Lisa Gmitter, and Chris Tomek are all close to the ball. It's Baughman who's going to strike it with a right foot. It's deflected and just wide. Just wide. Good opportunity, though, for the Lady Patriots. And they almost capitalized on that break. And when two teams are so evenly matched, you got to hope for a break. And this is the kind of a game where a first goal could be very important. It certainly was to the Lady Patriots yesterday, confidence-wise, when they came up with their win over UMass, and could be the same factor here today.
Well, they showed a tremendous amount of tenacity yesterday, and a lot of adrenaline flowed for them. They showed a terrific appetite for victory, more so than UMass, with the better record and so forth. Now I think they don't need any confidence boosting. They just need to put together 90 minutes of good soccer.
Kim Crabbe sending it back to Betsy Drambour, giving it back to the keeper. I think she wanted to give it back a little bit quicker to Kim Maslin.
April Heinrichs, by the way, coming in there, jumping over the goalkeeper. April has had maybe 3 or 4 touches on the ball so far in the match. There she is now with a good touch forward, but they've got to get the ball to her more often.
Right outside the box, an opportunity goes by the boards as Drambour clears it out. She wanted Gmitter and almost got off a deflection. Now Pam Baughman trying to help out, but it's taken back by Senga Allen. Over on the right side, incidentally, Wendy Gabar is now in the lineup. She'll wear number 19 for North Carolina. Back come the Tar Heels. A weak shot on goal is easily stopped by Kim Maslin to keep the game scoreless. 23 minutes and 38 seconds. Still to play, and this is the opening half as Kim Maslin punts it upfield near the midfield line. Headed straight up by Marcia McDermott. Back the other way by Chris Tomek for Pam Baughman. Pam has a tackle away from her by Stacey Enos, but the Lady Patriots send it back upfield. Strong header by Dana Hedden. And now it's Meg Romaine on the left wing. Romaine being marked over on that far side by Tony Catchings. Lady Patriots still maintaining possession. Long boot by Sis Koskinen goes out of play. Chris Tomek over on that far wing wanted to head it right into the box, but lost control of it. It went out of play. If you're just joining us, there's no score between North Carolina and George Mason. Dana Hedden has just gone to the bench to get a well-deserved breather. Right,
and she has been replaced by Kathy Conroy, who has a great shock of red hair, very easily to pick out. Our broadcaster's dream player.
Absolutely. Ball is sent the other way by Lisa Gmitter, but North Carolina will maintain possession. Now they're going to lose it, it looks like. There's a flagrant push and a foul. No, they're not going to call it. I'm surprised. And so are some people that are letting their feelings be known here at George Mason. Down the other side, those April Heinrichs. They have boo birds, too, at college games, I guess, Seamus.
Oh, sure. A lot of partisans here in this area. This match means an awful lot to them. This rivalry very keenly felt in the Northern Virginia area. And a lot of pride in George Mason University as an institution and not just to their athletic teams.
Got a handball called against George Mason. Last 2 times that these 2 teams have met, there have been ties. The one tie 2 years ago broke North Carolina's perfect record. They won 24 games and only had 1 tie. And this year, in the very first game of the season between these 2 clubs, they tied at 3 after North Carolina led at 1.3-0. Long ball now played into the box. Kim Maslin drawing a beat on it. Has to win it. Lost it off a deflection. North Carolina looking for it for McDermott, but it's cleared away all the way over the goal line. So there'll be a corner kick coming up. And for a second there, a little bit of confusion on the part of the Lady Patriots defensively.
And Betsy Drambour sustaining a severe whack to the ankle there, but she's at the near post. Seems to be okay. Tremendously competitive leader is Betsy. Very poised, wonderful competitive desire, but also a good amount of skill and a fine leader. I think probably the most respected player on the George Mason side by her fellow players.
Tracy Bates will put it in play. We'll probably be looking for Heinrichs or Sowetnik. Goes to the near post. Lady Patriots trying to get to it, but it goes right back to Tracy Bates. Her cross is blocked, but it's taken by McDermott. Now Bates coming in to help out as well. And now it's kicked away on a nice tackle by the Lady Patriots. A couple of shots on goal for each club. And no scoring. Taken back the other way. Lady Patriots, Pam Baughman, after getting the feed from Lisa Gmitter. Broken up on the far wing side by Wendy Gabar. Wendy trying to turn it back in. Right idea, but it's broken up by Kim Crabbe. Lifts it towards midfield. Thought they were going to call a handball there, and now they have. For a second, though, I thought they might have let them play on with it.
Nobody's really established a lot of authority yet in midfield, which is one of the things to look for. On paper, UNC with a better midfield, but such a fine job done yesterday by George Mason in the midfield that you have to think twice about that, too.
Pam Baughman doesn't get enough on that shot, and it's stopped easily by Kathleen Odell. 19:26 to go in the first half of play, and it's still scoreless.
We saw 9 fouls among the 2 teams, or between the 2 teams. Not a severe statistic, really. But one has to be impressed that both these teams are out here with a lot of physical presence and a lot of tough challenges.
Betsy Drambour up to Kim Crabbe. Trying to turn was Lisa Gmitter, but a nice defensive play by Senga Allen to win the ball upfield. Back come the Tar Heels. That was Beerta Hegstad, number 16, who was broken up. Kathy Moon sending it back upfield. Betsy Drambour coming a long way from her sweeper's position, trying to aid the offense a little bit. Broken up again by North Carolina as they try to come back. On the far wing side, Catchings trying to pass it upfield for April Heinrichs, but it went out of play.
Well, that's a typical problem with North Carolina at the moment. They're just simply not combining well out of midfield. They're showing a bit more tenacity defensively, but the combination play just simply isn't at the caliber that we've seen them in the past.
Beata Hegstad sends it back the other way to Marcia McDermott, looking for a runner on the right wing side. North Carolina in possession. The cross made into the box. One play was blocked, and then it was shot wide by Marcia McDermott, who immediately, Seamus, kind of covered her face, saying, no, I would like to try that one again, because she was set up pretty well.
She sure was, and she, of course, scored a memorable goal yesterday from outside the penalty area, which we showed you at the top of the show. A terrific shot, but this time she just really did not strike this ball very well. You see it carom out to her, very good position, but she just screws her foot around it and knocks it harmlessly wide. But UNC beginning to establish a bit more authority now in the last 5 minutes than they had previously done in 20 minutes before that.
Kim Crabbe will go back to Kim Maslin with it on a ball that was once again intended for April Heinrichs. She's been quiet for most of the first half, but she's the kind of player that can be quiet for 89 minutes and beat you in the 90th minute. So we may see a lot more from her this afternoon.
Well, she's playing the right side of the attack. She's not a traditional center forward, and frankly, I think that's a good position for her out there in the right, because she can come from wide positions and do a lot of danger, and not just simply be a static center forward type. A lot of the center forward does a good deal of running for her too.
Joe Bubas, this could be dangerous in the box, but not enough of a shot on Kim Maslin, and so North Carolina comes up empty. It is still scoreless. North Carolina nothing and George Mason nothing, as Kim Maslin talks things over with Betsy Drambour, her sweeper.
Kim Crabbe, by the way, the defender for George Mason, number 7, doing a pretty good job on April Heinrichs, coming in that time as April did make a central run. But Kim stayed with her all the way and eventually forced her to cough it up.
Pam Baughman was looking again for Lisa Gmitter. They work well together up front. This is Kathy Moon. Coming back after it are the Lady Patriots, but now they're going to have to chase it back at their side of midfield. Good back heel by Sis Koskinen. That shows you a little bit of the skills that the women have. They'll have a throw-in coming up. Kathy Moon on the right wing side for Lisa Gmitter. Lisa, nice move to the outside. A cross, which looked good, but there was nobody there. Now Baughman trying to settle, takes a shot. Score! Pam Baughman, and it's 1-0 for George Mason. But Seamus, the player that set it up was Lisa Gmitter initially.
Absolutely. I was so struck by her ability to get away from Senga Allen, and that whole goal came from that challenge on the right side. Yes, it was finished beautifully by Baughman, but look at her get away here. Tremendous cross that comes over, partially cleared, but right out to Baughman, who settles it nicely and then finds a spot in the corner. The goalkeeper reacting, cannot get over the corner. Perfectly placed shot by Pam Baughman. But look at this excellent run down the right side by Gmitter. The very talented cross, a partial clearance to the center of the box rather than out wide, which is where you want it. And there's Baughman, ever the opportunist, the quick shot in the corner. It's a beautifully struck goal and a well-deserved lead.
She settled that ball rather quickly too, Seamus, because there was a North Carolina defender in pretty close proximity to her, but she got off a good shot. She'll score. Lisa Gmitter, the assist in that goal, at least unofficially, comes in the 30th minute of the first half of play. And it's a 1-0 George Mason lead. We will see how important that goal can be. But certainly from a confidence standpoint, it has to make head coach Hank Lung feel very good. Long ball played the other way, but Dana Hedden had been taken down.
It's a very interesting matchup on that side down here on the right side between Gmitter and Senga Allen. Senga Allen is a Scottish defender. And you know what they say about Scottish defenders, they do not take prisoners. But she was playing very well, I thought, up to this point. She was among the tougher defenders for UNC, but that time she was just simply outmaneuvered by Gmitter, who eventually got the cross and leading to the goal.
She has broken up a lot of plays in the opening half, but that time Gmitter beat her to the outside on a good individual one-on-one move. Ball will once again go out of play. Dana Hedden will throw it in. 1-0 George Mason leading it on a goal by Pam Baughman from Lisa Gmitter in the 30th minute of play in this opening half. So we still have about 14 minutes remaining It is a George Mason lead, 1-0, but a North Carolina throw-in into the box could cause some problems. The Lady Patriots clear it away. The one goal was scored by Pam Baughman from Lisa Gmitter in the 30th minute of this opening half to give George Mason the quick lead. North Carolina after that far wing sideline. And we've got a whistle and a foul, and it's going against North Carolina. Some tough play on the far side by Kathy Conroy, but the foul is called the other way.
Well, Carolina was behind yesterday, 1-0 to Colorado College at about the same time, perhaps a little later in the first half, of 35th minute. But that didn't rattle them, as we mentioned, but they have a different opponent today.
Down the left wing sideline, the ball intended for Dana Hedden goes out of play. What will be interesting here, Seamus, although it's still early, is to see what George Mason does with that lead. Remember yesterday against UMass got caught, their heads were down, and it was just all Lady Patriots in the second half.
Yeah, there was one composed team on that field in that particular match, and it was George Mason only.
Ball goes out of play. Last touched by the Lady Patriots.
I must say UMass, just to talk about them, I mean, they had a superb season, 17 wins. They looked just tremendous, I guess, all season long, giving up only 2 goals. But they just unfortunately picked the semifinal of the national championship to have their worst game of the season. They looked terribly disorganized through midfield, and yet they have some wonderful players. Kristen Boucher in particular is a superb player in midfield, but I think she got 4 or 5 touches on the ball the entire second half. They just seemed to ignore her and were going over the top of midfield. Just everything went wrong for them.
And you know they'll be back. They only had 2 seniors this year, so they'll be a strong team in years to come. George Mason with the ball. Sis Koskinen playing it up the field. She'll get a return pass from Chris Tomic. Koskinen on the right, taking a shot partially blocked. Odell has to go after it because Pam Baughman was putting some pressure on with a run straight into the box.
Well, Dory Covenant coming over that time to try to put some pressure on, and again, that's what the University of North Carolina defenders have to do a lot more of. That is to putting earlier pressure on these fast George Mason players, because if they get a head of steam up, they can really take them on and just breeze by the defense. And this girl about to take the free kick now, this is in number 7, Kim Crabbe. This is, well, I guess she's not going to take it, but she has been doing a very fine job marking her opposite number, or not opposite number, but the attacker she has to worry about, number 2, April Heinrichs, who simply hasn't been heard from very much in this first half.
Another substitution, by the way. Sherry McDavid is coming in for North Carolina. She is now into the lineup. George Mason leading it by the score of 1-0 on Pam Baughman's goal in the 30th minute of play. The assist going to Lisa Gmitter. It gets physical on that far wing side of the field. Turned back upfield by the Lady Patriots. Chris Tomic, right-footed bullet, but it was stopped by Dory Covenant, and now cleared to the near wing sideline. North Carolina trailing it 1-0. There's April Heinrichs. Good ball. Coming upfield, Marcia McDermott. Lead ball, they want Serwetnik, but Betsy Drambour reads it well. A battle on the sidelines, and Betsy is able to win that one because it was last touched by Serwetnik.
Well, there you see Heinrichs now, that time coming way over from the right side back into the left side of midfield to try to unbalance the defense of George Mason, because she knows that if she does that, she's probably going to draw number 7 Kim Crabbe with her, which she did in fact at that time, but and they were not able to capitalize on that chance. But we'll see if they do some more of that, getting April Heinrichs to be a bit more mobile and therefore trying to unbalance the defense.
Sherry McDavid, who you saw a moment ago, is in for April Heinrichs, so maybe Anson Dorrance will just give her a bit of a rest, because Kim Crabbe, as you mentioned before, has been doing a great job on that far sideline against her. Lady Patriots thought they had a break, but the foul is going to be called on them.
Kim Crabbe with the foul there.
It's a good spot for North Carolina to have a free kick. And it will be a direct kick from just outside the box. Watch the wall set up. They will have, it's like a 5-person wall. 4 now, as Kim Crabbe is going to go off to the other side. It's important that you block the shooter, but also not screen your goalkeeper in this situation. Wall is set up, and North Carolina is having quite the huddle, Seamus.
Well, you don't need that many players in the wall with the free kick so far to the side of the goal, because obviously there's only so much of the goal you can block from out there. You don't need as many players to block it, to block one side because of the angle.
Well, let's see who's going to take it. Could be Hegstead, could be Serwetnik.
Probably Johnson.
Number 11. You called it. But the Betsy Johnson shot goes out of play. Corner kick coming up for North Carolina. They trail here by the score of 1-0. It is sent into the box, headed out by Chris Tomic in a nice defensive play. And the Lady Patriots come away with it. Chipped right out of the box. Headed back by North Carolina. Now the Lady Patriots give it a whack. And a blast from way out. Luckily, I think, Seamus goes over the crossbar. Would that have been a long shot to tie up this game or what?
Well, not a very bad idea at all by Senga Allen, whom we talked about earlier, who's a defender, number 7, but obviously he's got a lot of power in that right foot. Seeing the goalkeeper coming out for George Mason, Kim Maslin was off her line quite a bit, and it's almost capitalized on that particular situation.
I think Kim breathed a sigh of relief when she saw that ball go up over the goalpost and out of play. Throw-in coming up in the far wing side of the field. Lady Patriots with a toss. They lead 1-0. North Carolina breaks it up, but Chris Tomic is there trying to take it away, but North Carolina will get it back. What a nice header the other way, and the Lady Patriots take over. On the right wing side of the field, this is Kathy Moon. Running by her, Kim Crabbe. Taken down to the play is Gmitter. And a late whistle, but they're going to take that one the other way, a handball.
I think that's right. That when she fell down, she did stop the ball with her hand. That's what I think the call is. It looks like she had been bumped earlier, but I think it was a handball.
You're right. Senga Allen on the free kick. 6 minutes, 28 seconds remaining in the opening half of play, and it's a 1-0 George Mason lead. Back the other way. On the good run is Stacey Enos on the right wing side outside the penalty arc. A North Carolina player goes down on a slip, and Kim Crabbe puts the Jets on. But her long pass is going to be cleared away by Dory Covenant. All the way upfield off a deflection. North Carolina chasing it to the near wing side. Serwetnik with a left-footed cross. Kim Maslin is there to take it. And the Lady Patriots maintain their 1-0 lead.
Well, Carey taking a peculiar run to that ball, a sort of a curving run to try to get around it and put the cross in, but actually there was so much space behind the defender who was closing her that it might have been better for her to trap the ball and try to go one-on-one against that defender and get into the penalty area.
Meg Romaine is into the lineup, replacing Kathy Conroy. Both coaches using their substitutes well in the opening half of play. It's tough to play, Seamus, 2 games in really 2 days. In a couple of days, they had to turn it around yesterday. And the big thing, I think, for the Lady Patriots was not to be so sky high after that win that they couldn't be level-headed here this afternoon. Gmitter trying to go long for Dana Hedden, but it's cleared back by Senga Allen to the goalkeeper, Kathleen Odell.
Well, George Mason, certainly, I think, for anybody who came here as a neutral observer, has got to loom at the moment as the team with a bit more poise, and certainly they've snapped up their scoring opportunity very well indeed. And in midfield, they're still very, very tough.
They're hoping this could be their year. They were in the finals once, and they lost to this North Carolina team, but it has been North Carolina winning the NCAA championship 3 consecutive times. Back the other way, Betsy Drambour, a bit too far in front of her. She stays with it, though. North Carolina, Sherry McDavid hustling forward on the far wing side, but it's won again by the Lady Patriots.
Yeah, again, that little bit of extra quickness that you see among the George Mason players working very much in their favor. There you see 9 shots between the 2 teams, at a slight edge to North Carolina in the shooting department, but all that matters, as we all know, is which ones hit the net. And so far, that's just been won thanks to Pam Baughman for George Mason.
Kim Maslin for the George Mason Lady Patriots. And we look at the saves, 3 of them compared to 1 for North Carolina. Up the right wing side, Pam Baughman wanting to slip by again, but it's cleared right back to the goalkeeper Odell. 1-0 lead for George Mason, if you just joined us. Trying to unseat North Carolina as women's NCAA champs this season. Sherry McDavid going for it for North Carolina. Broken up by the Lady Patriots, cleared out by Sis Koskinen. To the near side, she wants Baughman, but it is cleared out of play, and it will be a throw-in for the Lady Patriots. From right in front of their bench, Chris Tomic, a junior from Wheaton, Illinois, tossing it in for Baughman. It is deflected out of play once more by North Carolina.
3 minutes to go in this first half, so George Mason will be happy with the 1-goal lead, but they would love to try to get something here just before the half ends.
Lisa Gmitter trying to pull that same move going outside on Senga Allen, but not that time. And it goes out of play, so there'll be a goal kick coming up for Kathleen Odell. Psychologically, a 1-0 lead would be very good for Coach Hank Lung. Going in at halftime certainly beats better than being down, but we all know that North Carolina has a lot of firepower, and we mentioned before that almost 50 goals were scored by their frontline trio. So I still think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for both sides before this one is over with. Sherry McDavid can't get it. She'll get a second try. Betsy Drambour chasing her to the far wing side. Now Meg Romaine, but misses on that tackle. Nice play the other way, though, by Kathy Moon. Playing it up the field for Pam Baughman. Taken away. North Carolina, Stacey Enos, heavily taped. Left wing sideline. Cutting it to the left. Beatrice Hegstad crossed it in the box, but it's broken up by the Lady Patriots. Drambour again, clearing it to the left wing side for Meg Romaine. Lady Patriots are leading it over the Tar Heels 1-0. Dana Hedden on the far side. Control is lost, but it was last touched by North Carolina. Dana with a good strong toss for Lisa Gmitter, trying to beat Senga Allen again, this time on the far side. Lisa's been playing on the right side against Senga. We have less than 2 minutes to go in the first half of play. They have stopped the clock here. Once it hits the 2-minute mark, they take it off the official scoreboard clock. Ball is cleared back to Kim Maslin.
Well, very clearly, UNC at the half is going to have to rethink some of the things they're doing. They're not getting at all any kind of combination play between midfield and the forwards. And they're going to have to think about some changes in there to unbalance that very effective and hard-working George Mason defense. There it's working again.
That time a double team, and it paid off. George Mason working very hard here this afternoon against North Carolina. This is Stacey Enos. Broken up, kicked away. Back over the midfield line. North Carolina getting it back. Senga Allen from Glasgow, Scotland. Right wing side, Tony Catchings. Meg Romaine after it, slipped and fell. Chris Tomek, guilty, says the official. On the far side, George Mason. Sending it upfield, Sis Koskinen, broken up by North Carolina right at that midfield line. Turned back.
Well, there's the same problem again, trying to get something going through midfield. The defenders now for UNC moving up and knocking the ball up to the forwards and still not getting anything out of it.
And we are at halftime here at George Mason. George Mason leads thanks to a Pam Baughman goal from Lisa Gmitter. George Mason has been able to nullify one of North Carolina's strengths, which is their midfield. They have some good offensive-minded midfielders who can play with that ball, use a lot of the clock to their possession, and set up some good scoring opportunities. But there hasn't really been a North Carolina forward that has been sent in on a good combination play in the opening half. But we'll see if it changes in the second, as Sis Koskinen clears it back to the keeper, Kim Maslin. Only one player, Seamus, came in that opening half of play. Kathy Moon is a substitute, although she changed for several different players. On the opposite side, something like 5 subs for North Carolina.
Yeah, a lot of depth in North Carolina, and probably some good depth also in George Mason. But Hank, I think, quite happy with the way his first 11 was playing. Didn't need to make many changes.
Back the other way, North Carolina trying to bring it up the field. And again, they are met by the force of Pam Baughman. We've got a foul being called, and it is against North Carolina. So Pam Baughman, who has the only goal of the game thus far. Nice ball into the box, but Kathy Odell is there. That ball had a little too much on it. Lisa Gmitter was making a run from the far wing side and would have liked to have gotten a header on that one. Officially, by the way, that goal, we had it unofficially in the 30th minute. Pam Baughman, it was in the 29th minute, 29:04 officially in the first half, as that ball is kicked out of play by North Carolina. And it is Kim Crabbe, who has done a great job, as we've mentioned this afternoon, of marking April Heinrichs.
She has done a great job. I've been very impressed by Kim. This young woman, I think, has got a fine future in the game, too. She is a sophomore from Reston, Virginia, and has really given April Heinrichs all she can handle in this match.
Betsy Drambour with a kick to the near sideline. Bodies colliding, and it is headed out of play by April Heinrichs. So Kim Crabbe, nope, she's going to leave it for Dana Hedden to put it in play. Dana, we mentioned, had a goal in yesterday's win, one of the 3 goals that were scored against UMass. The most goals that UMass had given up all year. They had only given up 2 the whole season and 3 yesterday. Back the other way. Carrie Sowetnik. Upended as Kim Maslin comes out after the ball, and the North Carolina people are questioning that.
Well, Bit of a tough break there. It looked like she was taken down outside the box after some fine work by Stacey Enos to set her free in the first place, right at midfield.
And now the bodies are flying.
Well, Stacey Enos, I just mentioned, she is the one with that tough tackle, trying to challenge the sweeper as she came forward.
Give Stacey a lot of credit. Her left leg heavily taped, but she's out there working very hard this afternoon. Here's another look at it.
Well, there's Betsy Drambour going forward. A little touch on the ball, but then obviously the body coming forward by Stacey Enos to upset Drambour.
Betsy Drambour with a long kick. Looks like it's heading out of play, and it is. There will be a goal kick coming up for Kathleen Odell and the North Carolina Tar Heels. It is George Mason on top 1-0 thanks to Pam Baughman's goal from Lisa Gmitter. Pam Baughman, one of the tri-captains of this team, scored 7 goals during the regular season. We see Kim Crabbe tossing it in. We had a look a second ago at some green paint on the field, and apparently some exuberant fan, Seamus?
Yes, from the North Carolina side of town, came in and painted a Tar Heel here last night. They had to take care of that there early this morning.
But he painted it with the Lady Patriot colors for today. So maybe it's brought them some luck. Maybe it backfired. Who knows? The other way. Saskinen. Broken up. And now it is April Heinrichs. April's pass hit off a George Mason player, and she is down. We'll have to wait and see. Referee should be stopping time now while we have an injured player. This is Dana Hedden on the corner kick. Nice cross into the box, but headed out by North Carolina. Lady Patriots of George Mason getting it back for Hedden, left wing. Sends it to the far post, but Kathleen Odell is right there with Lisa Gmitter, ever dangerous on the doorstep.
Well, a very dangerous cross by Hedden, indeed, because from a left-sided position, she surprised her opponents by suddenly hitting the ball with her right foot, which, of course, put a lot more swerve on it towards the net. Fortunately for North Carolina, their goalkeeper was right on the line, and Kathy Odell was able to take it down. Very good hands by Kathy Odell, by the way. I'm impressed with her ability just to pluck that ball out of the air, even when there's some pressure. Oh, there's a bad mistake by Carrie Servetnik, is not having the game that she had yesterday, particularly the second half, although there were some indications maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago that she was beginning to get herself more into it.
Ball cleared back into the Tar Heel zone, where it is banged out by Dory Kovanen. And now it is taken by Gmitter. Gets around Allen. Help is on its way from North Carolina. Shoulder to shoulder they go, the crowd wanting a foul. The officials let that go as just shoulder to shoulder.
Well, eventually they did call something on Dory Kovanen, so right at the end, yes.
So there will be a free kick from the far wing sideline. Ball put in play right into the box. It's headed far post to the left wing side. Now it's Dana Hedden trying to control it. She's tripped up in the box or out of the box. They're not going to call it anyway. Apparently, Seamus, they just said it went over the goal line, and you're looking amazed.
That's an astonishing decision or non-decision. A very clear trip there inside the box.
Yeah.
Although my guess is that had they called it, they would have discreetly moved it to the line, because that isn't always given. But she very obviously was indeed tripped. I have to retake this because a substitution is underway. I think, in fact,
there's Beerta.
Yeah, Beerta is coming in, and Carrie Servetnik is going out, and maybe an indication of some of the frustration that UNC coach Anson Dorrance must be feeling at the moment, because he's both Carrie and Betsy Johnson on the bench at the moment.
She has 10 goals, Beerta does, and 9 of them have come during the regular season. That's not bad to bring in a substitute that has that many goals, so still a lot of firepower on both benches, actually. George Mason looking for it. I think we're going to see a lot more fouls in the second half than we did in the first half, judging by the contact. And then if it does develop that one team takes a bigger lead, we may see some frustration set in too. Long ball to the left side, apparently onside for Dana Hedden. Dana trying to get around her defender, and it goes out of play. And there will be a throw-in coming up for the Lady Patriots. Again, deep in North Carolina's territory. That's Dana Hedden from Colorado Springs. Tossing to the near post, headed out.
But it was an illegal throw. Her leg came off the ground as she made that throw, and the linesman called it. And good decision by the linesman, actually, because it was a very dangerous throw. Would have been unfair advantage to George Mason.
North Carolina with the ball right by that sideline. It stays in play. April Heinrichs Broken up for the moment by Kim Crabbe, and April with great second effort. Now up the far wing sideline. Petra Hegstead for April Heinrichs. Look at this race between Maslin and Heinrichs, and it's tackled out of play. No foul on the keeper. She got a piece of the ball as well as the player, but she got that ball first. Interesting reaction on the part of Kim Maslin. I guess if she sat back there, Seamus, she could have been a sitting duck.
Well, I'm a little astonished here because while she did knock it over the end line and therefore it was a goal kick, it looked like she was hit from behind. But the referee, rather amazingly, has again decided that there's no foul there. Maybe he just decided the ball was already over the line when the challenge was made or whatever. But it looked like a good opportunity for UNC from which they get nothing.
UNC trying to come back the other way. We've got an injured player down for the Lady Patriots, and it is Meg Romaine, but she's getting up now before they would stop play. Play will continue with a throw-in. April Heinrichs holding it. She was trying to get some help from Wendy Gabauer. It went out of play. Wendy Gabauer on the throw-in. Near post side for Heinrichs. Cleared but not out. Koskinen, and we've got a whistle and a foul in the box again. That's the second time this afternoon that North Carolina has been called for a foul.
Well, there's April Heinrichs on the screen, and she is now beginning to get a little bit more of the run of the play, putting a good deal more pressure, trying to lose her player, her opposite number, Crabbe, who's been doing a very good job on her all day. In fact, one thing that's impressed me about George Mason in this half is that they are still putting a lot of pressure defensively on North Carolina back in their own half of the field. In other words, the forwards are working tenaciously to prevent UNC to get passes together and making them just fight for every inch of ground they cover.
That's a good observation, Seamus. It is George Mason with the lead, and they're not playing to go into a defensive shell. They're not doing that. They're going for it. But right now it's North Carolina going for it with a cross in the box for Heinrich. She didn't get enough on it, but someone else might. But the shot taken by Gabauer is stopped by Maslin. That might be her best save this afternoon.
Very good save and a very well struck ball by Gabauer after some fine work down the far side.
George Mason leading it by the score of 1-0, 29:33 to go in the second half, and we saw one substitution made by George Mason. Meg Romaine went to the sideline. She was limping, Seamus. She was the one that had gone down with an injury. She's replaced by Kathy Conroy. We don't know how serious it is with Meg Romaine, but they didn't stop play, if you remember. She got back up. Play continued for a while, but on the next guaranteed substitution, she came off for Kathy Conroy. Nice ball on the steal. Lead pass for Dana Hedden. Does not find the mark, but I'll tell you, Michelle Bell made a nice play to start back the other way.
There's some more of that challenge. A foul call there, but nonetheless, the challenge by Chris Tomek with a good deal of energy and a lot of physical strength shows you the determination of this George Mason team. Now you'll see this foul coming up and the challenge in there from the side, and it looked like after she touched the ball away, she just going to be caromed into the UNC player.
A little bit of momentum there, and everybody's coming out to take a look at the players. 28 minutes and 53 seconds still to play in the second half, and George Mason is leading it by the score of 1-0. The clock, as it ticks down, becomes an even bigger factor, especially when we get down to the closing minutes if George Mason is still in the lead. George Mason with the ball in the lead, 1-0, 28:45 to go in the second half of play. This is the Women's NCAA National Championships. North Carolina has won it 3 years in a row, and George Mason doing their darndest to try and stop that streak.
By the way, excuse me, John Paul, all the previous matches played in this tournament, the previous finals, that is, and the last 3 years have all been shutouts.
We'll see if that holds true this afternoon. Ball intended for April Heinrichs. Lost it a bit there. There's another collision, but there's no foul. Play continues, and now we have a whistle and a stoppage, but they're going to call the foul on the Lady Patriots. April Heinrichs getting her lumps right there.
Well, the referee tried to play the advantage rule since she seemed to have recovered, but then she got hit again, eventually went down. I think the second one was less intentional than the first one, but I think the referee interpreted properly. There you see the challenge. She survives that one, but there's the little hand reaching over, and that's what dispossessed her of the ball. It wasn't the late rush by Conroy. It was the little touch on the leg before that. 20 fouls, divided evenly.
Senga Allen going long ball, but it's headed out the other way by Sis Koskinen. North Carolina getting it back. The chase is on, but a great tackle on the far wing side of the field by Kathy Moon. Kathy Moon, 4 goals during the regular season from the New York area. She is a senior, one of 8 seniors this year for George Mason. Ball sent into the box area. North Carolina getting it. Easy shot on goal, and it's saved by Maslin. This George Mason program, Seamus, is only in its 4th year.
That's right.
So this is the first senior class, and Hank Lung says there's a lot of pride involved. He's got 8 seniors that like to go out with the NCAA championship.
And 6 seniors for UNC, 4 of whom are the entire back 4.
UNC lost 8 players to graduation last year, but they're back again. April Heinrichs would have been free, but Betsy Drambour made another big defensive play and draws a foul as well in North Carolina. But Betsy came up very big there, because if April had been allowed to slip by, she had a lot of daylight on that right wing side.
Exactly, but that's what the best sweepers will do, of course. They will time their runs when they see the trouble coming, so as to be there when the first defender has been beaten, rather than having to react to that too late.
And April Heinrich just gets the kick off of Betsy Drambour. Now it goes out of play, and it will be a throw-in coming up for North Carolina. April Heinrichs calling for it. 17 goals during the regular season for April. And last year in this tournament, she was the most valuable player. It was the University of Connecticut who lost to UNC. UNC has been there 3 straight years and won it all 3. Kim Crabbe heading it out strongly. But it's North Carolina pushing it back. Headed once more by the Lady Patriots, but it does go out of play. Last touched by Cheryl Walters, who is a senior. Started out her career as a forward, but has been moved to the back. 1 goal this year during the regular season. Koskinen trying to kick it out. Beerta Hegstead trying to make the play offensively, but it's cleared out of bounds by the Lady Patriots. On the throw-in, North Carolina doesn't do what they wanted to do, and it's kicked all the way upfield. A race for the ball down the left wing side. Senga Allen winning it by Dana Head. Dana really put on a burst of speed in trying to get to that ball. There's your score. George Mason leading it 1-0. Second half of play, 25-16 to go in the second half.
And the last 7 or 8 minutes played exclusively in the George Mason half of the field, as they've pulled everybody back to help out. Oh, there's a missed kick.
Dana Hedden again going for it, but Kathleen Odell is right there to prevent any further damage.
Well, UNC will continue to push players forward, I should think. There's still plenty of time to go in this match. They're not in deep trouble, but obviously they figure that they've got to get 2 goals to win this thing. They're not in here just to make a good showing. They're in here to hang on to this championship. And they lost virtually an entire senior team last year. I think 8 of the starters were seniors last year, and it was their best group ever in the short history of women's soccer at UNC. UNC essentially being the first major scholarship program, although there certainly are others now, and many other colleges doing a wonderful job with women's soccer. Cortland State, one of the flag institutions that started this whole thing, and up in the New England area, of course, lots of people there too.
You know, the women's soccer is growing by leaps and bounds when there's a heavy battle for recruiting, and that's what we're seeing now across the country. Long shot is blocked by the Lady Patriots, but it will go out of play right in front of the official scorers table. Throw-in coming up. North Carolina, they trail 1-0. Wendy Gabar in the toss, headed by Kathy Conroy, now kicked out of play by Chris Tomic. And again, we'll have a throw-in for North Carolina. Wendy Gabar looking for April Heinrichs. There's Kim Crabbe right on her. Ball stays in play. Remember, it's the entire ball, and now it goes out of play. And now we'll call this one a throw-in for the green-clad Lady Patriots of George Mason. Ball played up the field now for Lisa Gmitter, broken up.
Oh, lovely touch by April Heinrichs. And then another one attempted on the other side by number 16, Beerta Hegstead.
She showed you something right there. Ball taken now by North Carolina once more. Pam Baughman is loosening up on the sidelines, as is Maya Geminani. And we could see both of them in there before too long. Hard tackle on the near wing sideline. And North Carolina will have the ball.
Just relentlessly uncompromising defense by George Mason. When they can get a chance to tackle people out in the middle of the field, they're doing it. Here we see them again winning the ball, that time I guess illegally, but nonetheless two players on the ball.
Out of the 2 semifinal games that we saw plus this one, this has to be the most physical. Not necessarily in number of fouls, but in contact. There's a ball in the box, and look out, North Carolina looking for it, but again, an opportunity goes by the boards without even a shot on goal. Senga Allen wants to turn it back, but Kim Crabbe is in the right spot. Collision there, no foul. Kathy Conroy up the left wing side. Leading it for Lisa Gmitter. a bit too far. Taken back by Dori Kovinen. Intercepted by Kathy Conroy. Looking for Gmitter off the foot of Kovinen. Senga Allen trying to keep it in play, but that would have been tough to do. George Mason leading it by the score of 1-0, North Carolina, with Carrie Sawitnik trying to beat two defenders. And we have a whistle. Foul again on the Lady Patriots.
That was Beata Hexet who just came off. She was the one who made that good run down the right side, not McDavid, as we had said. But lots of pressure on the ball that time by George Mason trying to dispossess those talented players. Let's see what Heinrichs can do now with this free kick.
Faked on it, had Kim Crabbe going towards her. And we're going to have a yellow card, it looks like, Seamus.
Well, I think that's a little harsh. Maybe a warning might have been better, but she very clearly is coming off the line and getting within that 10 yards.
So you've got to keep 10 yards behind the ball in this situation, and as April Heinrichs made the fake, Kim Crabbe did charge into her, but I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, it clearly is a distraction. It's against the rules, and the referee is quite in his place to give her the warning. Let's see if she holds her position this time.
I say she does. April Heinrichs with a free kick on the right wing side, looking to send a low cross in off of Kim Maslin. I'm not sure she saw that, Seamus. It looked like it hit her low and then was cleared out. There was a lot of players in front, and she could have been screened. I think she was a little surprised it crossed very low.
Well, also Kathy Conroy came off the wall that time to well within 5 yards by the time the ball was struck. So Bates comes out.
Betsy Johnson, the team captain, is in. Corner kick from the near side. They go short with it this time. Allen crossing it, but it's headed out. Now headed back by North Carolina. Flick to the near wing sideline. Johnson going down. And are they going to call a foul?
Yes.
I didn't know if they were going to call a foul or just a throw-in because the ball did go out of play, but it is a foul. Senga Allen on the free kick.
Maya Gemignani, you just see there, number 18, just coming to the game, just committed that foul.
Senga Allen going to the far post. Kim Maslin up a little bit late. Loose ball cleared out, but another whistle. And a foul. Again, it appears as if North Carolina did some pushing when they were in there on the offensive play.
Well, again, we'll have to see, have to think about whether or not Maslin is being fouled or the referee just being unusually cautious. Here's the challenge. Yes, she was slightly bumped by number 10.
It's Carrie
Sawitnik.
Foul that time on the Lady Patriots as we're back to live action. It is a free kick coming up. Senga Allen.
Well, it's all UNC at the moment. The game being played exclusively in the George Mason half, but they still lead 1-0 with 15.5 minutes to go.
Senga Allen will be broken up by Lisa Gmitter on the left side for Pam Baughman. That's the duo that clicked for the only goal of the game thus far. It goes out of play, but there will be a throw-in for the Lady Patriots, and this is one of the few times in the last several minutes, Seamus, that they have come this far. As you mentioned, North Carolina picking up. Headed out by Stacey Enos, who, despite that heavily bandaged left leg, has played a very rough entire game to this point. On the left wing side, Chris Tomek. It goes out of play. Last touch by Tomek, and that will mean a goal kick coming up for Kathleen Odell. 1-0, George Mason leading it. 15:06 to go in the second half. Senga Allen gave it back to Kathleen Odell.
Well, they're going to make her retake it, I think, perhaps on the feeling that the ball did not leave the penalty area when it was played back into the goalkeeper, but I'm not quite sure I buy that, but the linesman is right on the spot.
Kovenen's kick goes out of play. Maya Gemignani tossing it in, wanted Lisa Gmitter, but it's broken up. Back come the Tar Heels, only to be broken up on the chest trap of Kim Crabbe. North Carolina, though, will get it back. Long ball right side, and there's Kim Crabbe again, but right to Wendy Gebauer. Up the middle comes Gebauer. Nice intent, but it's broken up again by the Lady Patriots, and Gmitter got behind Senga Allen. Two people rushing up the field for the Lady Patriots against four. Gmitter, nice cut to the inside, a wicked shot, but it just went wide. And we're back. I'm John Paul Della Camera with Seamus Mallon here at George Mason University Stadium. It is a 1-0 George Mason lead with 13:28 remaining in the second half. Pam Baughman has the only goal of the game thus far off a deflection. Senga Allen back for it. Right foots it up the field, but Pam Baughman is there. Look at this long ball. Onside. Pushed out by Odell. Here's Gmitter. Blocked. Will she get another try? Nope. And Kathleen Odell with a great recovery. And now the Tar Heels come out. Well, that could have been, even though there's plenty of time left, Seamus, that could have been a game-over situation. The confidence level for the Lady Patriots, had they scored there, would have been something. I think we would have seen a frustrated North Carolina team.
Well, I think what you're seeing is North Carolina gambling forward with a lot of players, so there's going to be a lot of space at the back, but this clearly is a mistake by the goalkeeper. Does not succeed in punching it away, and that ball seemed to have been played off Gmitter's hand, but then the keeper comes in again and doesn't get it a second time. So UNC lucky to escape that one, but they're having to take a few risks in where they're sending players now, because they've got to get some more people up front.
And if they still don't score, they will take even more risks as that clock winds down. That clock becomes the story. 12:25 to go. Second half, 1-0 George Mason on top. Kathy Moon passing it up for Lisa Gmitter. On the right side, they tried to hit Michelle Bell, who has come on, but it was off the mark. Michelle Bell, 10 goals this year, 1 assist. She scored those 10 goals, Seamus, on 35 shots. That's an accurate shooter. Pam Baughman looking for it, right at that midfield line. Lady Patriots getting it. They looked on the right side for Michelle Bell, but it's broken up, and the Tar Heels are back with it on the left wing. Going down on that play is Carrie Sewetnick, who is upended. Kathy Moon, number 21, committing that foul. Long ball the other way, cleared out by the Lady Patriots. Kim Crabbe to the midfield line. Senga Allen for April Heinrichs. They try to give and go, but Kim Crabbe is there again to clear it away. Tar Heels with it right near midfield. Senga Allen, who has played the entire game. On the long clear, Betsy Drambour just communicates well with the goalkeeper. They don't want a mistake there. It's one thing if you get a well-deserved goal, but at this point, George Mason has worked too hard to let a fluke goal get by. Long kick by Drambour. Another collision, but no foul. Play on. Lisa Gmitter sending it back to Kathy Moon on the fly, right wing side. 1-0 George Mason on top. They're in the green. North Carolina in the white uniforms, and they are basically the home team today because they won the toss, even though this is George Mason's field. They are the host team in the tournament. So all of the semifinal games and this championship game were played here in Fairfax, Virginia. North Carolina rushing up the field, another collision, and the ball is kicked back the other way by the Lady Patriots.
Well, you're going to have to find a different way through the to the George Mason defense than running right at them, because they are well capable of dealing with that kind of physical attack. And North Carolina's success about 10 minutes ago in moving that ball square across the field through midfield seems to have abandoned them a little bit now, as George Mason has found a second wind.
April Heinrichs and Kim Crabbe with some help from Betsy Drambour, headed high into the air. And now down by North Carolina, but Betsy is there again. Broken up, she stays with it and clears it right back to the midfield line. That was not only second effort, but third effort as well. Stacey Enos trying to set something up for North Carolina. Now a second attempt is kicked high into the air, and Kim Maslin will be wise to just let that one go out of play, setting up a goal kick. George Mason is on top by the score of 1-0. We've mentioned before that there are 8 seniors on this team, and this is their only chance at winning a championship, because for them there is no next year. But a talented group of freshmen and sophomores and juniors still will be coming back. We see Dana Hedden back into the lineup, replacing number 4, Chris Tomek.
And Pam Baughman, by the way, the goal scorer, the number 6 player, forward, is playing a lot now in midfield. She's been withdrawn into midfield just to, at this point, maybe hold on to this lead and send just 2 players forward for George Mason.
I stand to be corrected. Tomek is still in there. Michelle Bell is out on the right side. This is Kathy Moon, a great save, as it was punched out by Kathleen Odell. That was one of the better scoring opportunities of the afternoon. Good shot and a good save, and listen to the noise here at George Mason.
Very well struck ball here to the near post, and all the keeper could do to make a wonderful diving save. But here you see that fine shot by Moon. just about to go inside the post, but beautifully knocked away by Kathy Odell.
She had 4 goals, Kathy Moon did, during the regular season. From the far wing side of the field. It struck into the box and cleared out by North Carolina, sent back into the box. Tar Heels bring it right back up. Carrie Serwetnik up the left wing side. North Carolina down by 1. Marshall McDermott getting behind the defense. Maslin out of the goal. It's crossed into the box area. Cleared out by Sis Koskinen. The net was empty for a few seconds. Probably seemed like a few minutes for Coach Hank Lung. Sent back into the box, and it was headed out by Cheryl Walters. Little miscommunication because her and Kim Maslin were both there, and what they're giving up now is a corner kick.
Well, a tremendous opportunity for UNC to tie that one up on a great piece of aggressive play down the far left side, but including beating the goalkeeper and just not quite being able to get it across. But Joe Bubas made that superb run and came up short at the end, but excellent run at this late in the game, 8 minutes to go.
To the near post, it's punched away by Kim Maslin, coming up big to keep the score 1-0. George Mason, and Kim Crabbe was alone for a moment. Now it's broken up. Good play, Wendy Gabauer sends it low, blocked again. Gabauer with another try. April Heinrichs, low shot into the box. Somebody wide open, a shot stopped by Chris Tomic. She robbed Carrie Serwetnik of the tying goal.
Wow, Carrie Serwetnik can't believe it. Cannot believe that she missed that one. That it was there all in front of her. She just had to touch it home, and it just came to her a little bit awkwardly, but she didn't receive it well. And late in the game, of course, you do make those kinds of mistakes. 7 minutes to go, as I said, a lot of tired legs out there. Concentration goes, and the things you execute so well in the first 20 minutes of the game just seem to come apart sometimes in the last 20 minutes.
Lisa Gmitter, the victim of a foul right there. I think the toughest part there for Carrie was that it was not the goalkeeper that stopped her. It was the defender, Chris Tomic, while Kim Maslin was down and not in position. So we have another set piece coming up. There's a yellow card given out, apparently.
Yes,
to
I
Betsy
think
Johnson.
to Betsy Johnson, right.
I didn't see what had happened.
No, I was concentrating also on another part of the field. I don't know what happened to her there. Might have been some dissent.
Free kick coming up. Chris Tomic steps over the ball. Pam Baughman cranks it well. Just too high. You know, from this angle here, some of the people were standing up thinking it went in. I wanted to wait and be sure because it did look good from here. Nice attempt, but it still remains at 1-0. But Pam Baughman, Seamus, strikes it well.
A beautifully struck ball, but just going over the top. And as you can see, the keeper in a very good position to touch it over had it been a bit lower. So Odell getting well up in the air to cover that one. But again, lots of high shots very often taken in women's soccer. And many of them do, not all of them, but a good number of them will score.
Betsy Drambour to Maya Geminani. She did well to keep that ball in play. Chris Tomic, a drive block. Loose ball in the box, but it's cleared out. On the right side, now the Lady Patriots start to advance. It was all UNC for a while there, for about 7 or 8 minutes. But back come the Patriots, but a Kathy Moon shot goes out of play. George Mason with the lead, 1-0, as Senga Allen heads it near midfield, headed back by Pam Baughman for Lisa Gmitter, wanting to spin away from the defense. Lisa with a shot, great one to the far post and a goal! Lisa Gmitter with an outstanding shot. She is down in the field. I'm not sure, she might have hurt herself. She was down in the field before anybody started to celebrate, so I'm not sure if she is hurt or if she just was lying there in terms of saying, hey, I did it, maybe that's it, because now she's up and on her feet. But a wicked shot, Seamus, a great curve to the far post. I thought the keeper might have had it. I had to wait and hit off the far post and in.
And she touched it, in fact, on a great chance at the other end, an easier chance for Carrie Serwetnik. Goes awry, but look at this wonderful turn here now. Watch this turn away from the defender into space where she knew she could run and outpace the defender and then strike to the far post. The keeper just touches it ever so much off the stub of the post and in. Terrific shot by Carrie, but look how, terrific shot by this number 11 player, Lisa Gmitter, getting away from her player and then getting this wonderful shot to the far post, touched ever so gently, but cannot be kept out. And UNC, I think, is about to finally be derailed from its heretofore wonderful record of championships in a row, because it looks like it's all George Mason now with 3.5 to go.
Unofficially, Lisa Gmitter from Pam Baughman. And if that holds up, That's the combination that clicked on the first goal at the 86-minute mark. We have 3:09 to go, and George Mason just got a very big goal, to say the very least. Lisa Gmitter. And it's fitting that Lisa was the one that scored the goal with the season that she has had in the last 3 years at this school. Ball sent into the box towards the far post. Kim Maslin is right there. Long punt upfield. That's going to go over the midfield line. North Carolina trying to turn it back, but the pressure's still on them because the Lady Patriots are still going forward. Carrie Sowetnik. Broken up by Cheryl Walters. What a difference a play can make. If you recall, just a few minutes ago, Seamus, Carrie Sowetnik had a chance right in front with a goalkeeper down. That ties it at 1 if a goal is scored, but instead the Lady Patriots come back and get what should be the crowning blow. Cheryl Walters heading it out. You're going to hear some noise if this lead holds up. And right now you're talking miracle time with 2:15 to go. Kathy Moon heading it out of play. North Carolina needs, to say the least, a very quick score now. And then another one just to tie. Throw in on the far sideline. Headed out by Chris Tomek to the far wing. Cheryl Walters, did she keep it in? Apparently she did. Long boot into the box. It's getting by Kim Maslin and just going wide. Some anxious moments right there on the George Mason end. There is no time shown on the clock because, as we said earlier, once you hit the 2-minute mark, they take it off the scoreboard. But I think some people were looking at their watches, and you might hear a countdown from a lot of people as the seconds tick down to the final gun. George Mason has really done a great job today. Not that North Carolina has not, but George Mason has been the better team this afternoon. And I think it's a hard-fought game, and it's not going to be a game where you could say they were lucky. Throw in for North Carolina. Kim Crabbe breaking it up. Up for Lisa Gmitter. Lisa, middle of the field, try to go long for Dana Hedden. Linesman had indicated it would have been an offside. Never got that far. Long ball the other way by Tomek, and it goes out of play.
Well, Lisa Gmitter, for my money, is the outstanding attacking player certainly today, and there have been some wonderful players for both sides, and George Mason in particular got great defense out of midfield in the back four. But Lisa made that wonderful run to set up the first goal, and then, of course, beautifully struck the second goal. And clearly, had it not been for her, they would have lost. They would not have this 2-goal lead.
Defensively, I like that girl, Betsy Drambour and Kim Crabbe. I think they've played very well. She's got a very dirty uniform. She's done a good job. And April Heinrichs booted that ball. It hit off Betsy Drambour. I thought we were going to see a yellow card.
Well, I think there might be a yellow card to Betsy for handling that ball and pulling it in while she was lying on the ground, and that's what the yellow card is for. That's why the referee had to stop the play. In order to do that, a lot of excitement down there at George Mason at the moment.
I don't think she cares right now about that yellow card. That is insignificant. There's some hugging on the George Mason bench. Celebrating early, but they have this one. Don't know how much time is left, but it has to be less than a minute. Heinrichs with a long one in, punched out by Kim Maslin. Loose ball, a shot hit the crossbar. Hit the crossbar on that last shot. From the far wing, I thought it was Carrie Sowetnik who got that off. Now it's cleared over the sideline, and there'll be a throw-in coming up. Wendy Gebauer along the near wing. April Heinrichs broken up by Kim Crabbe. It's deflected out of play. Last touched by Gebauer. Throw-in coming up for George Mason. Their head coach, Hank Lung, was very confident when I spoke to him before the game. And the confidence was exhibited not only by him but by the players as well. It's been a consistent game for the Lady Patriots. The ball all the way back in the North Carolina zone. George Mason leading it 2-0 in the final seconds of this championship game. Ball sent upfield for April Heinrichs. Nice header for Gebauer, but it's broken up and cleared out of play. Last touched by Chris Tomek. Now Cheryl Walters and Pam Baughman are there. Pam Baughman breaking it up far side. Lisa Gmitter chasing it down. The ball goes over the sideline. Is this a bench wave or what? Usually that's done in the stands, isn't it?
The Mason wave.
Well, only on ESPN, right? Something innovative.